Hi guys! Welcome to Storytime Society. I'm so happy to have you guys here. I'm so happy that you're alive and on this planet. I'm not sure about the camera setup today. I don't know if it's like super, I can't really see it because this microphone blocks it, as I've said before. But whatever, it's not that big of a deal. I'm literally already hot, so this is going to be a nice long ride today. I'm probably going to be sweating. I have my hazelnut iced latte that I made myself. This is the second coffee I've had today, but it's only 2:53, okay? I think in the last episode or the episode before that, I don't know, I was telling you about how I went to hot yoga, or maybe I didn't. I don't know. Did I tell you guys that? I don't know, but so I went to hot yoga for the first time in like years because I used to go so much in college, and it was like I loved it so much. But it was also during my like eating disorder days and like obsessive working out days. So I definitely don't think that I enjoyed it as much as I do now. Like, don't get me wrong, I still fall back into those patterns sometimes and like whatever, but I'm going to yoga to try to like, because yoga is not like a crazy, like intense, like HIIT workout. Like I used to literally do like yoga, a HIIT workout, um, weight training, run 5 miles, like all in one day. And now I just want to like do yoga to like relax and like improve on like poses and I don't know, just like be one with the earth, you know. I've never been too much of a I've always wanted to be like a little like hippie girl, but that is just not me. I am just not. I'm too obnoxious and weird, I feel like, to be like super calm all the time. Like I honestly envy those people, but I cannot. I don't know, it's just not me. But I do love and enjoy yoga. So I'm going tonight by myself because my friend's out of town. And also the mother effing Love Island reunion. If you guys watch Love Island, comment down below because I want to know who is watching Love Island USA. The reunion is tonight, which it's literally, it pains me to not watch, but like I have to watch with my friend and she's out of town until like tonight at like 9ish. And I know it comes out, but like we don't really want to watch it like super late anyways because there's two parts and they both come out in the same day. So she's going to come over tomorrow morning. We're going to have like breakfast and coffee together and watch Love Island. She's going to bring her like work laptop and we're going to go at it. And I'm so excited. But I was like, I don't want to watch this alone. Like, that's so terrible. It's so boring. And we just like moved close by each other recently. So it's been nice to like hang out and stuff like that. And we watched the finale together. So I'm like, and we literally every single episode, we would text nonstop. We'd be like, every minute something would happen. We'd be like, oh my God, blah, 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 and like saying stuff to each other. So I really want to watch the reunion with her. So we're going to do that tomorrow morning, which honestly is like a slay because I much rather, like, I enjoy daytime a lot more. Like, not really relative, but like I enjoy a darty more than I enjoy like a nighttime party. Like, I'd much rather be at like a daytime club, like in the sun, music, like DJ, pool, rooftop vibes than like at a club at night. I actually dread a club at night, to be honest. I hate clubs, period. I really like bars a lot better, just like regular casual bars that you like can actually hear the person talking and you can like talk while also like drinking. That's more fun to me. But overall, like a darty, a daytime party is my favorite thing. Although we're obviously not having a party, but like, I don't know, hanging out during the day is like a lot more fun. And also, I love coffee so much. I love breakfast so much. So, like, that's so fun to me. It's like a little brunch day, but at home. And yeah, and I love hosting. Like, when people come over, I want to be so extra and make like a million platters for them, get all this stuff for them, like get all these drinks. Like, I just love hosting, and especially now that we have a 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom. I want everyone to stay the night. I'm like, please, can you just stay in our guest room? Like, I literally want to host so bad. So that's why, like, as soon as we moved here, I was like, I'm gonna buy my mom a ticket so she can stay in our guest room because I just love hosting. I love being a host. I love like making things comfortable for people. I don't know. Like, when my mom was coming, I literally bought everything possible for the bathroom so that like she would have everything. I was thinking about buying like a mini fridge and putting it in here so that people could have like water or like drinks if they wanted, and they didn't have to like come out in the living room, even though like obviously you can come out in the living room. It's just like, I don't know, I just want to be extra. That scared me, and also my cat was being insane under the couch. But anyways, without further ado, let's get into the episode, because I don't think if I keep talking anyone is going to be staying, because I literally could talk for, I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in a while because I haven't filmed since Thursday and it's Monday. So it's like I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in so long, and I'm like, I need to say everything I possibly can. But I fear I will lose some people if I keep yapping away. Even though I know you guys like it. I know some of you like it, but I also know some of you don't like it, so I feel bad sometimes, and I'm like, I'll still yap, but I'll keep it to like the minimum possible. Then sometimes I get out of hand. But I'm always in my brain, I'm like, okay, girl, you can slow down now. But this week I'm really excited because I have like multiple different Storytime Society members on the subreddit, which if you're not in the subreddit yet, the link is below to join the subreddit. We have 178 Storytime Society members, and I love you all so much. I'm so excited because a bunch of people were sharing and cross-posting stories. And these are like my favorite ones to read, because when it's just me and I'm just cross-posting these stories, it's like, that's boring, you know? I love seeing what you guys share, to see what your guys' pages look like and what stories you guys are interested in, because obviously, like, I want to read the stories you guys are interested in. And yeah, so I'm trying to think of what one I should start with. Like, I want to start with a crazy one. Oh, wait. Actually, I want to start with this one. This one is not one that a member posted. I actually posted this one because I saw it and I was like, ooh. And also there's some updates, so I'm excited. Okay. So, wait, let me take a sip of my coffee actually. Let me know what you're drinking, if you're drinking anything. And if you're not, go get something. Like something fun and cutesy, or maybe just water. That's also fun and cutesy sometimes, because I've been trying to drink a lot of water lately. I've been making it my goal. I got the habit tracker on my phone to like make it my goal to drink at least 80 ounces, read book every day. Not read book. I have purse. Do a little bit of exercise, no matter what it is. Like, even if it's just like stretching for 30 minutes or like going on a little walk, like no matter what. During the week only. And a couple other things that I put on there, I can't remember, but it's really nice because I have kind of like gotten out of the groove of really like taking care of myself, and I want to like be healthier and not be like just, I don't know, sometimes I just feel so lazy and like blah. And you guys know I'm always tired. I'm always yawning. I'm always like, oh, I'm so tired. Like, I don't want to be like that anymore. I want to be healthy and like active and like actually want to do stuff during the day and not just want to sit on my couch all day long. Okay. So the first story, the title is, I found out that my husband has been keeping a secret box of mementos on the top shelf of our closet, and I don't know what to do about it or if I should even bring it up. Oh my gosh. Okay. I, 26 female, found out that my husband, 27 male, has been keeping a secret box of mementos on the top shelf of our closet, and I don't know what to do about it or if I should even bring it up. I honestly don't know who the hell I'm supposed to talk to about this. I am genuinely in disbelief. So backstory, my husband, let's call him Lee, and I have been together since our sophomore year in high school. We were each other's first everythings, and for the most part, I feel like we honestly have a picturesque marriage. I'm currently 5 months pregnant with our first child and have taken it upon myself to DIY the guest bedroom into a nursery. But to do that, I wanted to sort through the stuff in there and get rid of anything unnecessary. I think it's relevant to say that I'm pretty short, 5'2", so I don't really store things up high since I can't reach, but my husband's a foot taller than me, so he does have this tendency to store things higher, which is how I found the memento box on the top shelf. It was just a plain cardboard box, so I didn't think much of it at first, but since I didn't remember putting it up there, I wanted to see if it was something that needed to go into storage or if it was just junk. I don't know what I was expecting, but inside the box there was a photo album, a trash bag, and a leather bag. The album just had my name plus Lee's written on the cover, so I thought it'd be something sweet because Lee has a tendency to gift me sentimental things, but no. The album was full of nude pictures of myself, all of them marked with dates and a short journal like entry. The first one was from our first time, from when we were teens, and the latest one was marked from the night I surprised him with my pregnancy announcement. Most of the pictures are poor quality, but some are clearly of me sleeping after the deed. These journal entries talk about how he ranks each experience and his favorite part of it, like some weird logbook. Inside the bags were some of my favorite lingerie and even some old razors and hairbrushes. I don't know why on earth he keeps them, but he has 2 full bags. I don't know how or what to do. I mean, is this normal behavior? Is this some twisted form of romance on his part? A part of me feels like I shouldn't feel as disgusted as I am, but this violates my own boundaries since I explicitly told him in the past that I was against giving or sending him any nude photos. Reddit, what do I do? I love my husband, but I'm not sure how to confront him about this. Okay, first and foremost, the way it would be traumatized, like that almost sounds like a movie. Like that's literally like the freaking You show with Joe Goldberg when he keeps like obviously this isn't as like serious because he literally kills people and keeps like their teeth and stuff, but that's like what it reminds me of. Like imagine going in your boyfriend's like bathroom and you like there's a little hole in the ground that you like pull up and you see that there's this box of like mementos of stuff that is like old stuff, like old floss or something, or like an old toothbrush of yours, like old hair strands of yours. Like, what are you doing with that exactly? Like, why do you have that? That would just make me, I would never, I don't think I'd ever be able to move past that. That would make me feel like my boyfriend was the biggest creep in the world and I'd be like disgusted by him. Like, I'd literally be so scared. Okay, some of the top comments. This is like a repost, like copy and paste. So obviously, the original, all the top comments aren't on there, but there's like 3 on here that I'll read. No, this is not normal at all. This is also not romantic at all. The fact that he took pictures of you sleeping and has them in an album is incredibly concerning. Him ranking times y'all had sex is setting off more red flags. This is creepy and inappropriate behavior. I can't imagine my fiance taking pictures of me sleeping, let alone him keeping a log of our sex life. Girl, you have to show him the box and demand answers, and don't go easy on him. None of this is okay or normal, and you should really be concerned as to why he thinks any of that is okay. And then the next person said, taking creepy pictures of you asleep is, wait, taking creepy pictures of you as you sleep naked and have naked photos of you as a minor in general and then rating every sexual experience with you is not normal at all. The lingerie too, and the razors and hairbrushes make it even creepier. This is creepy, obsessed stalker shit. And the last person said, what in the Joe Goldberg, which is literally what I was just saying. That is so tea. That's funny that they said the same exact thing. Okay. I'm nervous for the update, to be honest. Like, I need to, like, I feel like I need to clench my asshole together or something because I'm so nervous. Okay. Updated March 30th, 2024. 5 months later. I need to itch my armpit, sorry. Update. So I'm not sure if anyone cares. And while I didn't reply to any of the comments, I did end up talking with my husband about this just a few days ago. Just a few days ago, girl. You waited 5 months? What? Wait. More? Okay, sorry. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to just act like I didn't see anything and go on with my happy life, but after giving birth to my baby girl about a month and a half ago, I guess the stress and everything added up and I let it slip out in an argument. I don't remember all that was said, but I was exhausted, and my husband, while he's been super helpful and took over the household chores for me and helps with our baby girl, had just been getting on my nerves. I sort of exploded on him in a way that I'm not proud of. Worst of all, he wasn't even doing anything. All he had been doing was reminiscing about how I used to make a Sims family of us when I was in uni and how creepy it was. He said it endearingly. I don't know why I got so mad, but I basically said something along the lines of how he's the creepy one because he has a secret stash of stuff hidden from me. I felt really bad because he got all pale and went quiet, and then he sort of said he needed space and went to blow off some steam at the shooting range, which he does a lot when he needs to think, so I didn't question it. He came back home around dinner and said he was ready to talk. I asked him about all the things I found, especially the photos. No, 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 no. Why would you let him go to like think about it so that he can what, make up an excuse and be like, well, how am I going to explain that I'm not actually a creepy serial killer? Girl. I reminded him again. I reminded him again that I never agreed to making nudes of any sort, and he apologized and agreed to burn them. Apparently, our history goes back further than I even knew, as he recounted that we actually met before high school. I had no idea, but his mom, who's a divorce attorney, was the very same one my mom used when she had separated from her first husband. Not my dad. I called my mom after to confirm, and she told me it was true, but her and my mother in law never told me because my mom's divorce was messy and she hates talking about it. Anyways, back to the first meeting thing. My mother in law at the time often had Lee hang out around her office after school, and it was during one of these days that my mom had to take me with her to speak with my mother in law in person. Lee was actually the boy that I played with in the waiting room. I can't believe he remembered that because I totally forgot it. So, according to him, that first meeting was the day he knew I was special. Lee told me that when he tried to pass it off as a crush, as he got older, it never really went away, which led him to look into his mom's case files and my state attorney's. In my state, attorneys have to keep them for 7 years. And he found my mom on Facebook, then my dad in her friends list, and managed to find my first and last name in order to find my Instagram. He had convinced his parents to let him transfer from his private K 12 school to my public high school, using the excuse that they had a better athletics program, which isn't actually far fetched since my high school was one of the best in the state for that. Once he found out where I was going, thanks to my dumb self putting it in my bio, I thought that us meeting was a sheer coincidence and that we fell in love naturally, a classic sort of high school sweethearts. But no, Lee had orchestrated it all. I took my daughter with me to stay with my mom and stepdad while Lee agreed to stay home and let me think. I spoke to my mom as well as my mother in law and father in law. Lee's parents are not happy with him at all, honestly, and my mother in law is especially mad because of client confidentiality. My mom gave me some good advice that I should reflect on it, and Lee has displayed that being that I should reflect on it. Lee had displayed any other red flag behaviors. Oh, I think she meant if. That being that I should reflect on if Lee had displayed any other red flag behaviors. I can honestly say that no, he hadn't, but since I know I'm biased, I asked my friends and those close to me said that they and those close to me to see if they noticed anything. So far, everything else about Lee seems to check out. I've never felt endangered by him, even when I told him I needed some distance for a few days. I want to make this marriage work, Reddit, but is this something that therapy can fix? What? Imagine meeting someone when you're how old? How old were they? Like you're what? How old are you? You're 10 or something, or like how can you like? That's obsession. That's obsession. That's not knowing. That's not like love at first sight. That's obsession. That's being, you're like a creepy, weird stalker. Because I'm sorry. If I literally, like, if I was in like fifth grade and all, obviously I had like crushes at the time, and I just like stalked them up until high school and then was like orchestrating a way for us to get together and making it seem like it was like all a coincidence and natural, that would be so creepy of me. Like that is so creepy. Like I can't deny that like when I would like talk to guys when I was older and like I would meet a guy and like I'd be like, "Oh, I feel like we gel really well. Like I feel like we would make a good couple." That I wouldn't like maybe go in high school like try to walk by where I know that he's at in class that period or something and then be like, oh, and like bump into them. Like, obviously, stuff like that, like, that's normal. But to say that you played with this girl once when you were a kid in an office, she doesn't even remember this, and you just like obsessed over her ever since is so scary to me. Also, I just got so many text messages, and I hate when that happens because... Okay. It's my friend talking about Love Island. Because, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But I'm scared of this. Okay. Another comment from OOP. Hi, this is really late for a reply. I'm sorry about that. I wasn't ready to acknowledge it for a long time. Lee told me that he didn't mean anything by it and wanted to just have a keepsake collection of some memorable moments we shared, but he did acknowledge that he knew it was wrong and apologized, and he promised me he'd get rid of the pictures by burning them. OOP updated in a comment on a different post. Small update here, July 2nd, 2024. Lee and I have since been going to couples counseling, and he's going to individual therapy. After the whole drama that happened a few months ago, he sort of had a come to Christ moment where he realized that the way he had been obsessing over the idea of me wasn't the same as a healthy love. We spent a few weeks apart so he could work on himself, and he turned over his devices, passwords, and accounts to me so that I could go through and calm my worries because I was really anxious about the explicit photos. Since then, though, we're back in our house with our baby girl, and our marriage is back on track and better for it. I mean, you do you, girl, but I don't know how I would feel. Okay, I'm going to read some of the comments. Yeah, that last little update sounds like when Joe would text and post from people's phones. Anyone checked their basement for a glass cage? To paraphrase a famous tweet, Reddit, I've just found a bunch of missing women's driving license in my fiance's sock drawer. Should I still go through with the marriage? The wedding is tomorrow. Girl. That's insane. Okay, but I still am haunted by that Reddit post where the lady going all those driver's license behind a bookcase and never updated. This one I hadn't heard it before. It sounds very yikes, though. This sounds like the plot to one of those stories in Stephen King's book, Full Dark, No Stars, A Good Marriage. King mentions, at least in the audiobook version, that it was inspired by the BTK killer. A woman finds a bunch of old IDs in a cubby behind some shelves in the garage and figures some things out about her husband. I think there was a movie adaptation for that one, nice but not as memorable as the story. Oh Lord, I remember that movie. Maybe I'm a wuss. Maybe it was the mood I was in, but I could not make it more than 10 minutes into that movie. The protagonist found the licenses and just started sobbing. It was too real and I felt so bad I had to turn it off. I'm scared. Yikes. This honestly sounds really scary. And I didn't even think of that. Like, that last update, it was so short and, like, sweet. Like, we're so great. We're going to counseling. Like, everything's better now. That literally does sound like when Joe Goldberg was, like, trying to act like these girls were just, like, in a different country going, like, on... They were just trying to escape for a little bit. And then he would try to make it seem like they were still alive. Like, ooh, yikes. Where? Oh, these are... Wait, I want to see if she has any other posts. No, other than a completely different post that she posted 2 months ago, but yikes. I hope she's okay. That's genuinely so scary. Okay. I'm going to read a post that one of the Reddit users or Reddit Storytime Society members cross-posted on the subreddit. If it will load. Hello. Thank you very much. This is an update, so I'm going to go read to the original post, and then I'll read the update. Okay. The title is, I, 28 female, found out my husband, 29 male, has been telling his coworkers that I'm his sister. What do I do? Please help. Throwaway account because I don't use or understand Reddit, but I really need advice from someone not connected to me or my husband. My husband, I'll call him Josh, and I have been together for 6 years, married for 4, and we don't have kids. We have a really healthy and communicative relationship. We're both pretty easygoing, and I really love him. He started working at a large accounting firm about 3 years ago, and from what he tells me, he loves it there. He's made a lot of friends through this job, and he goes out with them for drinks and social events quite often, and I've been totally okay with that. I'm quite introverted, so I've never been interested in meeting his colleagues or work friends, nor have I asked to. I've got my own circle of friends, and I'm fine with us having separate friend groups. After what happened yesterday, it only just occurred to me that he has never actually asked me if I'd like to meet any of them or go to one of his work events. I guess that's important context. Anyway, I'll start with what happened a few months ago that I had brushed off until now. I was at a bar with some friends for a couple of Friday after work drinks, and a guy approached me. He was there with some friends too. He looked slightly familiar, but I hadn't met him before. He seemed friendly enough and asked me my name. Right? I don't like the way she wrote that. I can't really read it. He seemed friendly enough, and he asked me if my name was if my name was what he thought it was. I think I must have just given him a confused look because he followed up with, "I'm Jake. I work with Josh." I realized that I recognized him from some photos on my husband's phone. I don't use social media except for a private Instagram, so I'm not sure if he posted the photos anywhere, but we've got a very trusting relationship. So I look in his photos sometimes. Don't hate me. This is where it gets a bit embarrassing. I'm a bit socially awkward, and so I struggled to end the conversation, but he just kept talking at me. I guess he was already a couple of beers deep. But while he was talking, he said something like, "It's great that you guys are still so close. I haven't talked to my brother in ages." At that time, I was like, huh? But I just assumed he was drunk and not making any sense, so I ignored it. He's okay. Couldn't push that one away. He started to get a little flirty, so I turned to my friends and we left shortly after that. I didn't say anything to them about it, and it didn't seem like a big deal to me. I also decided not to tell my husband that I had met his coworker, Jake. Not to hide it, but because I figured the guy wouldn't even remember talking to me, and I didn't want to make it awkward for Josh at work by telling him his colleagues tried to hit on me. I just thought no harm, no foul. But yesterday morning, I was out walking with our dog Monty. He's a cross between a few breeds and has a very unique markings. This matters, I promise, and was on my way to my regular cafe, which is in town. I was waiting in line to order, and the guy in front of me was an older man. He got his coffee and turned around, but stopped and looked at my dog and goes, "Hey, Monty." Monty was super excited to see him, apparently, and so I guessed that the guy was another colleague of Josh's because Josh brings the dog to the office a couple times a week. I thought it was sweet, to be honest, so I smiled at him and said hi. He introduced himself. I guessed correctly that he was a colleague. But then he said something like, "Aren't you a good sister walking his dog for him?" I was so confused that I didn't even know how to react at first, so I stumbled on my own words and just said, "It's my dog." I regret it, but I genuinely couldn't bring myself to correct him and say that I'm Josh's wife and not his sister. It was just too awkward, and I just wanted to leave because I think it was suddenly dawning on me what might have been going on. He asked me something about sharing a dog, but I was able to escape the conversation by being next in line to order my coffee, and he left. I seriously don't know what to do because what the fuck? Do I even ask my husband about this? Part of me is just assuming or hoping that it's a mistake, that he doesn't talk about me much at work and they assume we are related because we both have brown hair. But the thought that he has been telling his coworkers that I'm his sister and evidently they have seen what I look like, so they must have seen photos, makes my stomach churn. I don't even know how I would broach the subject with him. I need some help. What would you guys do in this situation? I have only told one friend what happened because it's so weird and embarrassing, and she has just jumped straight to time to plot his downfall because she's my ride or die. I love her. But I don't want to immediately assume the worst or ruin my marriage over something that could be nothing. I'm sorry for the long and rambly post, but I would really appreciate any and all advice. Okay. Then she puts a long update, or not update, edit on this post. Okay. Edit, holy F. Thank you, everyone who commented with some advice. I haven't read all of them, but I really appreciate the suggestions from you guys. A small update, Josh came home at about 2:30 last night, but he was drunk, so he just went straight to sleep. Which is fine by me because fuck having this conversation in that state. I've just woken up, but he's still sleeping. First thing I just want to clear up is I've seen a lot of people suggesting I have crippling social anxiety or am severely introverted, which I suppose you could glean from that way that I explained what happened, but I'm not. I meant that I'm slightly introverted, that I'm not the most eager to meet lots of new people at once, especially a bunch of finance bros whose weekends consist of unending sports bar beers where I assume I would be mansplained everything until my ears bleed. Probably a negative assumption, but I'm sure some of you know what I mean. I suppose you could say that I'm confrontation averse. I'm confrontation averse in that I'm quite laid back and prefer to keep the conversation easy and positive. I don't know, I don't like it when things are awkward, and correcting when people misrecognize me is one of those things, but I'm not terrified of confrontation. Also, my husband and I do share some mutual friends. I didn't explain that well, but our lives are not entirely separate. The way he acts towards me around our mutual friends is extremely affectionate and normal. It is only his work friends that I have never interacted with. I've also seen some people suggest that what is going on is equivalent to my husband beating me and me hopelessly wondering whether I should break up with him, or that I'm stupid for thinking my relationship was healthy when it clearly isn't. Like, damn, cut me some slack. I'm a real person. This is an entirely alien and bizarre situation for me. My first reaction wasn't to assume the worst, but I do appreciate that you all have made me certain that it is a big deal. I guess I needed confirmation that the things that happened are enough proof that Josh has been purposely lying and they weren't just mix ups. I'm going to talk with him today and ask him directly why he's telling his coworkers that I'm his sister. I followed the advice of writing my points down that if they get lost, so that they don't get lost if I got emotional. Oh well. I would do my best to not let him slither out of this, and I hope he has some proof that his colleagues know I'm his wife. I know that's not the theatrical confrontation you guys were hoping for, but it's a Saturday and I can't wait. Wish me luck. Thank you all. What the fuck? Wait, I was gonna say something earlier, but I can't remember what I was gonna say. I don't know. But I do get like the confrontation, like not wanting to like say correct someone because I always feel like I don't want to like if someone says my name wrong or something, I don't even think like, oh my god, that's so rude of you. I just think like, oh, that's embarrassing if I correct you right now in front of people or just like in general. Like I don't want you to feel embarrassed because if I was like saying someone's name wrong and they corrected me, I'd be like, oh my god, I'd feel so bad, and I would for sure think about it for days and days after that. But at the same time, it's like obviously I don't want to keep saying that, so like correct me. But yeah, I would definitely feel so like bad, and I would overthink that for so long. Now I need to like crack my knee. Okay, some of the top comments: walk up to him and ask directly, why are you telling your colleagues that I'm your sister? Sorry, but this is nothing where you beat around the bush. Yep, also it's only awkward because you think you own some shame in this, OP, and you don't. Just be frank. I'm his wife, not his sister. This is my dog. It's not awkward to tell the truth. It will be for Josh because he is a lying jerk, but that's not yours to manage. This would not make me feel safe with my spouse. He set you up to be hit on by his coworkers this way. It's not okay at all. Okay, let's see what the update is saying. Let's see what this girl... Oh, wait. It's a long update. Okay, ready? Let me just catch my breath. Take a yawn. Take a sip of my coffee. All right, we're ready. Update. I found out my husband has been telling his coworkers that I'm his sister. What do I do? Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say thank you for the overwhelming amount of support and advice. I'm blown away, and it really means a lot and has kept me grounded. I'm sorry for the slow update. I know a lot of you were interested in what happened. I actually tried to update on Saturday, but it turns out this subreddit doesn't allow me to post an update until 48 hours after my first post. I'm also only allowed to post one single update, so I'll try to fit as much as possible. Sorry for how long it might end up getting. I'll just get right into it. On Saturday morning, I woke up earlier than my husband. He was very hungover, so he was like sleeping like a rock. But you guys will be proud of me because I followed some advice and decided to look through his phone properly while he was sleeping. I've been on his phone so often just pissing around on it that I never had the thought to check anything very deeply. I know his passcode by heart. I checked all the expected things like Instagram DMs, Facebook Messenger, his iMessages, etc. And I didn't find anything that set off any alarm bells to me, but I know from some comments that people who are cheating are good at covering their tracks and hiding messages, so I kept looking around. I saw he had a folder called Work, and so I looked in there and he had a couple of Microsoft apps, Outlook, Authenticator, OneNote, etc. But he also had MS Teams. So I opened that up and had looked around. It did feel like I might have been breaking laws looking at his work messages, but I obviously had to. Anyway, I was already upset to see that he had a bunch of one-on-one chats with several female coworkers, which at first glance is obviously not an issue because everyone works with people of the opposite gender and are required to communicate with them. But a couple of them were vaguely flirty, nothing I would call egregious, but there would be the occasional message between them with some playful innuendo or a wink emoji. These upset me, obviously, and they did send me into a bit of a spiral, but I didn't find anything that suggested he was having an out and out affair with any of them. Still, I followed someone's suggestion of screenshotting the messages and I airdropped them to myself. I still wanted to find some evidence of the lie, though, some proof of Josh telling someone that I was his sister directly. A commenter suggested that I go through his messages and search for keyword sister. I wanted to reply to your comment and say thank you for the idea, but the post was locked, so I couldn't, but thank you. So I searched for sis on his MS Teams, hoping to find results for both sister and sis. A bunch of messages from all hands group chats or one on one chats came up from other people, all unrelated and all about their own sisters or whatever, but my heart dropped out of my ass, lol, when I saw that there was a direct message from Jake, the guy from the bar, to Josh from a Monday a few months ago. Jake's message said, ran into your sis at the bar on Friday. She's single, right? And my husband had the fucking gall to reply, nah, she's married. I literally almost burst into flames on the spot when I saw that. I can't even describe how much I was shaking after reading those messages. Firstly, that I could have confronted Josh about this months ago. I was and still am so furious with myself for that. Josh would have been fucking praying I didn't remember meeting Jake or that I wouldn't mention it, and he would have been counting his lucky stars that I never did. He probably thought he was hot shit for getting away with that, and I nearly burnt a hole through the floor thinking about it. But secondly, I was just in shock that he had the balls to tell this guy that I'm the one who's married because he doesn't want to have anything, because he doesn't want anyone having it on with me. But he is allowed to coyly flirt with every fucking woman in the office. Anyway, I kept going back through the search results on his MS Teams chat, and eventually I got as far back as 2-ish years ago, and I did in fact find a message from Josh himself to a group chat. It said, me and sis in Nusa Dua. I clicked on that and saw that he sent it alongside a bunch of photos of him and I from our holiday to Bali. We went to Bali for our second anniversary. I thought he probably chose those photos because he's shirtless and had been working out, so he looked hot in all of them. I was in tears seeing all of this. Obviously, I took screenshots of those too and airdropped all of the screenshots to myself. Needless to say, I was devastated, and I still am to see all of that. I'm still struggling to even process it all, but that all happened on Saturday morning, and I immediately took myself to my friend's house. I'll call her Sophie. I went to her place to cry about it and show her what I found, and she was extremely supportive and probably more furious than me. At around 1:30 p.m., I got a phone call from Josh, and I hung up immediately. He sent me a few messages along the lines of, where are you, baby? I'm ordering food. Do you want some? Sad to not wake up to you this morning. Frowny face. Guys, I have to reiterate how much I loved this man and how fucking heart-wrenching it was to see him still acting like nothing had gone wrong. It took so much willpower to not just pretend none of it had ever happened and go home to him. I know a lot of you will yell at me or accuse me of being terrified of confronting him about this, which is not true. Please have some empathy. It takes me time to process my emotions, and I wouldn't have been able to form a sentence if I tried to confront him immediately after seeing those messages. I needed some time away with Sophie to recollect myself, and so I stayed the night at her place. She ordered us Chinese, and she helped me plan how I would confront him. I got a bunch more texts and calls from him as the evening progressed, and I eventually put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Sunday morning, I woke up feeling more angry than sad, so I opened my phone and finally replied to his messages. Coming home now, need to talk. I kept it cryptic to make him squirm, to be honest, because I am fraught with emotions. I can't remember the entire conversation word for word, but I'll try to replay it as best as I can. Long story short, I got home and he tried to hug me, but I refused him and we just stood in the kitchen. I did confront him like someone suggested. I just said, "Why have you been telling your coworkers that I'm your sister?" I wish it would have been like a movie scene where the color drained from his face or he immediately looked like a deer in headlights, but he didn't. It was like he had been girding himself for this confrontation for a while because he just frowned at me and looked flabbergasted. He just said, "Huh?" This made me so angry. How are you going to pretend to be stupid after 3 years of lying? I basically said, "Don't play fucking dumb. Two of your coworkers have greeted me as your sister, and I have proof of you telling them. And I know you're pretending to be single." Essentially, I asked him what he had to say for himself. He still played stupid. He became moderately defensive and just kept saying, "I don't know what you're talking about," or "Why would I lie about you?" I cannot describe how furious I was at this point, but I was in tears. I always cry when I'm angry. Same girl. So he was trying to comfort me as if I was having some kind of irrational breakdown. I showed him the screenshot of his message saying, "Me and sis," and I said something like, "You tell me." He just said, "I don't know what I'm looking at," and I'm confused. I got so angry that I left again and went back to Sophie's because it felt like a dead end road. I didn't think I was going to get him to admit anything, and I was just getting furious, so I couldn't continue. He was really upset and in tears, which to me was evidence that he knew he was lying and that he was going to have to come up with some explanation. He tried to get me to stay, but I told him that until you have something to say for yourself, we've got nothing to talk about. At like 8:30ish, he called me again and I did pick up. He basically asked for us to talk and he said that he has some things to say. So I went back to our apartment and he had written out a bunch of stuff on a piece of paper as if he had prepared a speech and sat me down on the couch. He asked me to not say anything while explaining himself, and I'll write down the gist of what he said in bullet points. He started by apologizing relentlessly and admitting that he pretended to be stupid before because he couldn't immediately think of something to say for himself. He said that immediately after he started at his job, he realized the atmosphere was like a frat house. All of his team members were men in their 20s and 30s that were single and fuckboys. He noticed that the one guy in their team that was married would either get picked on or essentially excluded from any and all social interactions. That included getting lunch, inside jokes, going out on Friday, etc. These guys were friendly and welcoming to Josh, and he admitted that he was desperate to fit in with them. He hated feeling like fresh meat, so he was scared that saying he was married would alienate him from his coworkers, and at first just never mentioned that he was married. He said he did wear his wedding ring, and that they had just never pointed it out. A few months in, they were all out drinking after work. He admitted that after one of his workmates saw a picture of him and I on his lock screen, they asked him who I was, and in a moment of panic, he said, "My sister." He was really apologetic at this point, and he was crying a lot. He couldn't even look at me, and he was just reading what he had written down. Anyway, he said that from then, he basically dug himself deeper and deeper into a grave because they kept grilling him about me and wanting to see more pictures of me. He said he had let it go on too long and that he didn't have the balls to admit to the lie. They would always bring me up and ask shit like, "Did you give her my number yet?" or joke that they had slept with me, etc. So when he got a message from Jake, he essentially thought it was just him taking a piss. But he didn't like the jokes they were making about me and said that I was married in hopes that they would stop. They didn't. He said that this wasn't his first time he told them I was married. In fact, he had said to pretty much immediately after saying in fact, he had said so pretty much immediately after saying that I was his sister. He said that those pictures of us in Nusa Dua were the only pictures that he had purposefully sent them, and he deliberately lied about after what he called an endless barrage of pestering from his colleagues to share the pics from his holiday. He said he was really ashamed that he did that. He told me that he had never had an affair or even considered it, that the messages between him and his female colleagues were banter, and that it was commonplace to talk to people like that in the office. He also said he knows how disgusting it is and he is embarrassed to have been acting like a fuckboy. He concluded his speech by apologizing again and said that he was disgusted in himself and ashamed that he had lied for so long, felt like he had trapped himself and that he couldn't find a way to get himself out of it. He said he knows he could have confessed the truth to his coworkers or to me at any point, but that he didn't because he was a coward. He said that he'll confess to his entire office that he lied and that I'm his wife and not his sister if I want him to. He said that he will quit his job without a word if it makes me feel better, and that he hopes I can forgive him, but he understands if I can't. Anyway, I couldn't really think of anything to say at that point. He went to lock himself in the bathroom, and I just sat on the couch crying. I still don't know if I can trust what he said, and a lie that extreme is just baffling to me. If he can lie like that for so long, what else could he be lying about? But his explanation and apologies seemed to be so sincere and genuine, and I guess to an extent that what he said is believable. He has always been extroverted but very susceptible to peer pressure, especially from other blokes. If nothing else, to me, it's a sign of shocking immaturity. Anyway, I packed up a bag and went back to Sophie's, and I'm still at her place writing this. She said I can stay as long as I need to. I told Josh that I needed time away from him to think about everything and whether or not I believe him or whether I can ever trust him again. He told me to take as long as I needed and that he will still be here if or when I get back, and he said even if it takes a year. Right now, nothing feels real. I'm still dealing with the emotional whiplash from all of this, and I can't keep food down or think about anything. I've taken the day off work, and Josh told me he's going to take off the whole week. Sophie and my other friends have told me not to make a dumb decision on anything until my head is clear. I spoke to my parents this morning, and my mom says it's just a bump in the road, but she and my dad adore Josh, so they're pretty biased. That's where I am right now. I'll take some time before I consider my next steps. I can't say whether I'm leaning towards forgiveness or divorce, but those are really the only options. I kind of feel lost in a void at the moment. That's probably the best way to describe it, just emptiness. Thanks again for all of your advice and support. I'm truly so grateful, and having this place to write down all of my thoughts has been helpful to get my mind a little clearer. This will be my last update unless I make an edit to clear things up. All the best. I was going to say, like, exactly what she said. Like, sorry, but one of the most unattractive things to me is a guy that, like, tries so hard to fit in to the point where he's, like, disrespectful. Like, okay, you can obviously try to. It's so crazy to me because, like, oh, excuse me, sorry, that was crazy. In middle school, I remember being so, like, always wanting to fit in because I feel like that's just the age. Like, you just want to fit in. But then as I got older, like, there was nothing I wanted more than to be unique in my own person. And, like, obviously, I wanted to have friends. And obviously, like, I wanted to, get along with a lot of people. But, like, I wasn't upset if I didn't, like, get along with someone. Like, I was never like, oh, I really want to be friends with this person, but, like, I don't have anything in common with them. Like, I don't really, like, get along with them that well. Not to say that we were, like, mean to each other or anything, but just to say that, like, we just didn't gel well. Like, we just didn't mesh that well. And I would just never be upset. Like, I don't know. I don't want to sound like a psychopath, but it wasn't, like, hard for me to just, like, not be friends with someone because, like, I just didn't get along with them, or, like, I don't know. I was just never that person that, like, was friends with everyone and could be friends with everyone, which maybe that's saying something about me. I don't know. But I could never understand how someone could literally be friends with everyone. Because I'm like, how can you be friends with everyone? Like, are you being true to yourself by doing that? Like, I mean, no offense to them. Like, honestly, that's, like, a skill, I feel like. But for me, it's like I could, but I would be lying to myself if I were, like, to try to be friends with everyone because I don't like everyone. Sorry, but I think that's normal. Like, I don't think everyone is supposed to like everyone. You're different in different ways. Everyone's different. And, you just don't get along with people as well as you may get along with other people. So, like, and I realized that pretty young that, like, I didn't want to stay friends with anyone that, like, I didn't want to force myself to be friends with anyone. And I didn't want to force myself to just get along. I mean, I got along with everyone. Like, it's not like I was, like a flaming bitch and was, like, a bully to everyone. But, my friends were my friends, and obviously I would make new friends, but if I made new friends and, like, we didn't really get along that well, I wasn't really that upset. I was just like, okay, it's just not meant to be. I'll go make another friend, and if we get along well, nice. Like, I'll continue being friends with them. I don't know if that makes sense, but I just, like, as I get older, and even as I get older and older, like, I just, that's, like, one of the things that bothers me the most. It's, like, the type of person that just does anything to fit in. Like, it's just, like she said, it's very, very immature, and especially, like, if it's a guy, it's so embarrassing to me. It's like, I want a guy that is like confident in himself and confident in in his choices, and that's okay with not getting along with everyone. That's okay with like not trying to impress everyone, because who cares? Like, I don't know, because obviously there like some people are just so like these types of guys is kind of what I'm talking about. Like if my boyfriend were to just like make things up just to get along with like these types of guys, like in a fraternity or something, like that's just so gross to me and I hate it so much. And yeah, that's like the biggest thing. It's like also you guys are married adults. Like he's a 29-year-old and he's not like, he obviously needs to get his shit together if he is 29 years old and he can't just be like, yeah, I'm married. Yep. Like, hey, I still would love to be friends with you, but yeah, I'm married. Like, I don't understand. I don't know. Maybe he's lying, but that's like so annoying and that's just gross. I mean, it's obviously a lot of a, like, it's way bigger deal because they're married, so it's not like it's not, for some people it is a big deal for them. Like, it is a big enough deal to get a divorce, but for some people it's also like, well, I can kind of understand where he's coming from, but you also should probably go to therapy if you really need to lie to people that hard because you want to fit in, like it's obviously something deep rooted at that point. I'm going to read some comments. Call Jake and start a conversation, then ask him if your brother is popular with the ladies. 100% have a chat and ask more specifically what he thinks of that girl her brother has been interested in, and say Jake says you mean Megan in account and see Jake. What am I saying right now? Am I okay? Hello? And see Jake say, you mean Megan in accounting or something similar. And if Jake says anything about OP being married, say, I was, but not for much longer, and see how fast it gets back to her brother. Say she wants to set him up with a friend of hers, but wants to make sure he isn't seeing anyone. Yeah, but OP's never going to do that because OP just doesn't seem like, OP seems very drama free. Like she's not that type of girl that will like invest or like instigate or investigate in a way, you know what I mean? Like she just wants the facts as it is, and then she wants to like figure out and process and like figure out what she wants to do, which honestly is mature, but I would probably be doing what these people are saying. I'd be like, hey, so is my brother like seeing anyone? Because I want to set him up with like a friend. Just let me know. Has he been like flirting with anyone or interested in anyone? Because I'm sure to like fake something like that, you have to show interest in other women, right? You can't just be like, because the way that I'm sure these men have, they're probably locker room talk like to the moon and back. They're probably so insanely disgusting talking about women, and I'm sure he joins in on that because obviously he wants to fit in so bad that I'm sure. I don't doubt it for 1 second. Whatever. So rude of him, and it's kind of stressful that she's not going to update us when she figures out what to do, because I want to know if she decides to stay with him and forgive him or she wants to divorce him. But she said she's not going to make another update. So I guess we'll never know. Okay. Let's see. Let's read this one. Am I the asshole for punching my girlfriend after she hit me with a baseball bat? I, 23 male, am in a tough spot and need some outside opinions. My girlfriend, 22 female, and I had a heated argument the other night that escalated quickly. It started over something small but turned into a big fight. In the middle of it, she went to the garage, grabbed a baseball bat, and swung it at me. She hit me in the ribs with full force, which broke a rib and really hurt. I was in shock and pain, and in the heat of the moment, I punched her in the face. I now realize that hitting her back was a huge mistake, but it happened so fast and I was overwhelmed by the pain. The punch broke her nose, and I regret it deeply. After the incident, we both took some time to cool down and talk things through. She apologized for the bat, and I apologized for hitting her. Since then, some friends and family have cut me off entirely, while others are divided on whether I'm the asshole. Some people say I had no right to hit her back, while others believe she crossed a major line with the bat. We're both trying to work on our issues and improve our communication with counseling. So am I the asshole for punching my girlfriend after she hit me with a baseball bat? Girl, first of all, don't really give a fuck if you're the asshole or not. You need to break up. Why are you guys trying to work on things? You're 23 and 22 years old and she beat you with a baseball bat and then you punched her. Like, you're both the assholes. Yeah, you're the asshole and yeah, she's the asshole because obviously she should never have hit you with a baseball bat and you should have never punched her. Like, what? Are you something? You shouldn't be in a relationship, I think. I think maybe you should take a few years to yourself because the fact that you're like, yeah, we're both like trying to work on our issues and improve our communication with counseling. I think you guys just aren't meant to be. Like, in my worst relationship, in my worst, like, I don't even know, talking situation, even if I didn't get along with this person and like our communication was shit, there would be no situation or no world in which I would hit someone with a baseball bat. Even if I like, even, I don't even know. Like, what? I don't understand. In what world would you be hitting someone with a baseball bat, especially your own boyfriend? Like, unless it was an intruder or like someone trying to get me or a kidnapper, then like, what's happening here? I think you guys have a little more problems. Oh my gosh. Okay. Some of the comments. And next time she bounces that bat off your dome, come on, man. It's time to part ways. People don't realize that literally a single hit in the head with even moderate power can absolutely fuck you up and very easily kill you. In many states, her hitting him in the ribs would be assault with a deadly weapon, which it is. I think a lot of people watch films and TV that show people shrugging off a lot of stuff and don't realize almost 90% of that stuff would be immediately either incapacitating or fatal. Sorry. I couldn't process. A single shot to the ribs, if it breaks the ribs, that can kill you. Loose bone can puncture the lung, an artery, or whatever. You take a baseball bat to someone, head or not, you can kill them. Oh, someone's saying, yeah, that is indeed my point. Also, this post is absolutely fake. I mean, it could be. I don't know why you assume that or how you pick this post out of all the Am I the Assholes? And by fake, do you mean it's not an accurate story or just totally made up? In my opinion, which could be wrong, the story doesn't make sense. He broke her nose and she broke a rib. That requires a doctor, which means they're going to ask a ton of questions. It's required if it appears to be assault from my understanding, i.e., she didn't break her own nose, what happened, and especially with that specific injury. The rib could be ignored easily, but he'd be in a lot of pain and the bruising can become intense, which, sure, you can explain that away. But any logical person writing this story would have absolutely mentioned that. Could just be exaggerating, which is why I said I could be wrong. That's a legitimate possibility, but to me, after thinking about it and rereading it, it seems fake. I'm not usually one to jump on the nothing is real bandwagon. It's just how it comes across to me. This sounds like vitriolic. I know vitriol, but how do you say vitriolic? Vitriolic? I don't know how to say that one. Abusive and absolutely terrifying relationship, and the details are weird. They just made up everything's cool now. We're in counseling. It's just nuts if you think about it. Not saying shit like this doesn't happen constantly, and I didn't pick this post. It just happened to be the one I read and commented on. There's plenty of others I could spend a ton of time picking apart. Some I'd be right, and some I wouldn't. If this is real, both of these people need severe clinical help. LOL. Yeah. I don't know, but I can imagine getting on Reddit and being like, so, am I the asshole because my girlfriend punched me in the face because we were arguing, or hit me with a baseball bat, broke my rib, then I punched her and broke her nose? But we're in counseling. Like, that's an insane story to just make up, but okay. All right. Next story is titled, Am I the asshole for not writing vows for my wedding? So, I, 33 male, just got married last week, and what was supposed to be the happiest day of our lives turned into this whole drama fest, and I really don't get why. My wife, Sarah, 30 female, and I have been together for 5 years, and I've always been a straightforward, no nonsense kind of guy. I show my love through actions, not words. I take care of her, I'm loyal, and I've always been there when she needs me. So, when it came to the wedding planning, I didn't think writing vows was a big deal. We're busy people, and between work, wedding planning, and just life in general, I didn't really have the time, or honestly, the interest. So sit down and write some long, sappy speech. I mean, she knows I love her, right? I don't need to prove it with words. I figured the wedding itself, the whole event, was enough to show my commitment. Plus, I've never been good with words. I'm more of an actions speak louder kind of guy. The night before the wedding, Sarah asked if I had my vows ready, and I just casually told her no. I didn't write anything, but I'll say something on the spot. She looked a bit surprised, but I didn't think much of it. I mean, we were about to get married. Why stress over some words when the whole point is that we're making a lifelong commitment? Fast forward to the ceremony, the officiant asked me to say my vows, and I just kind of winged it. I said something like, I love you, I'll always be there for you, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. Short, sweet, and to the point. I thought it was fine, but when I looked at Sarah, she had this crushed look on her face, like I didn't understand what the big deal was. She's getting the commitment, right? That's what matters. After the ceremony, she was quiet, and I could tell she was upset, but I didn't get why. Later, some of her friends and even a couple of mine came up to me saying I really messed up by not preparing vows, that it looked like I didn't care, and that Sarah deserved better. One of her bridesmaids even had the audacity to just say I embarrassed her in front of everyone. I was like, seriously? We're married now. That's what counts, not some cheesy speech. When I talked to Sarah later, she said she felt hurt that I didn't put any effort into the vows and that it made her feel like I didn't care as much as she does. I told her that was ridiculous. I married her, didn't I? That's the ultimate proof of how much I care. Why should I have to spell it out in front of everyone? Honestly, I think everyone's overreacting. The wedding was beautiful, and at the end of the day, we're married. That's what matters. I didn't see the point in making a big deal out of a few words when I'm already committed to spending my life with her. But now I'm here because people are acting like I'm the worst husband ever for not writing vows. Am I the asshole for not writing wedding vows because I didn't see the point when my actions should speak for themselves? Why am I crying at him repeating, we're married, that's what counts? Not some words. We're married. That shows my commitment, right? Girl, we get it. You're married. There's commitment. Oh my God, why are you acting like it's such a chore for you to be married and be committed? Like, that's so annoying. Oh my gosh, we get it. Like, yeah, you're married. That doesn't mean that something that, like, means a lot to your wife shouldn't be given to her. Like, obviously, if that means a lot to her, why are you gaslighting her? Why are you like, well, we're married? Like, isn't that the whole point? Like, oh my God, why does she care about words so much? Because she cares. Is it that hard to understand? Actions speak louder than words. Oh, what were your actions? Oh my God. You probably went to a wedding that your wife literally planned every detail of. You showed up. Wow. Bare minimum. The bar is in hell. Literally, like, being stripped on by the devil. Like, are you okay? I'm just so confused. The amount of times, like, I would love. Why stress over some words when the whole point is that we're making a lifelong commitment? I don't understand what the big deal was. She's getting the commitment, right? That's what matters. I was like, seriously? We're married now. That's what counts, not some cheesy speech. I married her, didn't I? That's the ultimate proof of how much I care. Why should I have to spell it out in front of everyone? We're married. That's what matters. Ugh! I want to bop you literally through the screen, bro. Like, yeah, you're the asshole. She told you that you needed to write vows and you didn't. And you're embarrassing. I love you. I'll always be there for you, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. Boo, tomatoes. Like, obviously, if she wanted you to write vows, she wanted you to do something to show some effort. Oh my God. The fact that you're saying Yeah, between life in general and work and wedding planning, girl, you probably went and tasted some cake and said, "Yeah, those flowers are nice. Yeah, I like that." And that's the extent of what you were planning for this wedding. Like, I guarantee you. I just didn't have the interest or time to sit down and write some long, sappy speech. You're disgusting. You're bothering me. Why did you? Yuck. This like reminds me so much of my ex because his like obviously everyone's love language is different and I honestly am such a I don't know. I'm such an advocate for like being with someone that can love you in the way that you want to be loved because obviously everyone's way of being loved is different. Like maybe you love being like touched physically and kissed a lot and hugged a lot. And then maybe I love like having someone just tell me how much they love me and what they love about me, like all of that. And everyone's different. And like I genuinely being with someone that can't love you in the way that you want to be loved is like the most frustrating thing in the world because you could explain to them, you could give them step-by-step instructions. Like you could literally write love language for dummies or how to love me for dummies book and give it to them and they still wouldn't be able to love you like that. And that's honestly fine because they need to go find someone that will accept the way that they like love and like wants them to love them that way. But like being with someone like that is so fucking frustrating. It makes me want to pull out my teeth one by one with pliers because I was in a relationship like that and it was literally the worst thing in the world because for 4 years I explained how I wanted to be loved and I never got any of that ever. Like insane. I hate that. And that seems like what's going on here and I feel bad. Okay. Let's see what these people are saying. You're the asshole. You spent more time writing this post than you spent preparing this huge moment in your and your wife's life. Just what the fuck? Okay, damn, I didn't even realize this. Ouch, that hurts even more from the wife's perspective. You're the asshole. Literally 7 paragraphs about how unimportant vows are. How he's just a man of action who doesn't know how to word or write and is blatantly arguing when his friends, family, bridal party, and wife are all telling him that this was terrible. This marriage will be over by Christmas. Yeah, I was reading the post. Like, you've got some of your vows sitting right here. I could edit this and rewrite it into the vows the wife wanted, adding some stuff that compliments the wife instead of complaining about her. It would still be short, but at least I wouldn't be paraphrasing church vows into these sentences. You're so the asshole that I don't even have the human language to describe how much. You were thoughtless and careless. If your wife looks crushed on your wedding day, you should not need Reddit to tell you that you fucked up. He'll be lucky if she doesn't get an annulment. No, but don't you understand? She's getting a commitment. Fuck the fact that married women actually have shorter lifespans than single women, and married men have longer ones, and she is probably the one who made most of the plans and will be doing so for the rest of her life. She's the only one who should be jumping for joy because she got the commitment, don't you know? All men are the price. She should have thanked him at the altar. Shake my head. Literally. Literally, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, oh my God, thank you so much for giving me the commitment. I know it was so hard for you. Like, I had to drag you here against your will. For the love of literal God, this is my nightmare man. I never want to meet this man. Because he knows he did wrong. That's why he had to stress so hard that he was making a lifelong commitment 7 different times in the same post. Like, obviously, you know that you did something wrong if you are having to argue with yourself in your own Reddit post. Isn't that all that matters? He's like tweaking. Like, are you going to be okay? I can't. Please. That's torture. Like, I wouldn't wish that on anyone. And I feel so bad. Okay. Next post. Am I the asshole for not telling my fiance that my late partner was a man? Sorry, I thought this was an update, but it just has the update linked. I, 29 male, lost my fiance 4 years ago in a car accident. He and I were both 25 at the time and had been together since we were 19. If soulmates are real, he was mine. He was stubborn, he preferred a way earlier bedtime than I did, and was a major homebody, and I loved all of it. He would stay up with me until he was sure I fell asleep, and weekly movie theater outings planned by him became a thing like a month into us meeting. I am a fundamentally different person, both because I met him and because of my grief. I was shown what real love and effort and care feels like. I also don't talk about him. I go to therapy once a week. Otherwise, it's silence on that topic from me. He lives he lives on in me in the ways I try to emulate him. I practice the patience he had that I always struggled to find. I go after career related opportunities that scare me because I know he would encourage me to. Sometimes I let myself stay in bed because I know he'd be gentle with me and let me do that too. But I don't talk about him, and I probably never will. I'll make the occasional, oh, X would have loved this comment when I'm with friends who knew him well. With strangers, nothing. My friends and family respect that as well. I'm engaged again. My fiance, 31 female, obviously knows that I was engaged before. I pretty much told her my last partner passed away and I don't talk about it. I don't use social media in really any capacity anymore, but she happened to stumble upon an old Instagram profile of mine recently and saw him heavily featured. This led to her accusing me of purposely keeping this from her. I don't really see why his gender matters, and I told her so. She said I've broken her trust. Times like these are when I long for the life I was living before, but grief fucked up my brain, so I'm not sure if I'm being insensitive. And she knew I'm bisexual. The only thing she didn't know was that my fiance was a man. The fact that she finds that's so ugh, that's yick. That's yuck. That's ick. Why are you like your fiance's last partner passed away and he is clearly crushed about it. And you're going to be like, I can't believe you didn't tell me this. Like you know that you know that he's bisexual. You know that it could have been a woman or a man. You know that he's probably dated many men in the past, and he's probably dated many women in the past, and he's probably slept with many men and many women, and probably done different things with many men and many women. So why does it matter that you like what do you mean? I don't understand. Is it a problem that he's bisexual? Because if so, you probably shouldn't be with him in the first place. Like I don't understand. I don't understand. Obviously, he wasn't keeping that from you on purpose. He just doesn't like to talk about it, and it's not like you asked. You could have been like, "Hey, was like your last partner a man or a woman?" I mean, I don't really see why that matters, but if you really wanted to know, it's not like he was saying, "Oh yeah, my last partner was a woman." He wasn't lying to you just because he wasn't talking about it. Okay, let's see what people are saying. I fear that people might be very much disagreeing with me, but we'll see. Oof, some of these comments are rough. Here's my perspective as a widow. You need to talk to your therapist about this, not Reddit. Most people have no idea what it's like to lose so much and just how much that loss shapes you. But also, it's concerning to me that he sounds like such a big part of your internal life, but you've never even mentioned him with your current partner. Before you get married, you need to dig into why you've compartmentalized this such to such an intense degree. Why are you hiding him? What are you afraid of? If I'm being generous, I think seeing that your late fiance was a man shocked her fiance into realizing that she knows absolutely nothing about this major part of you. This is what I thought of OP's current fiance and may be concerned that she doesn't know who she's marrying, which could be fair because it sounds like OP may not know who he is right now. Good stuff to work through. That's spot on. It's not just about the past, but how it shapes the present. Understanding that is crucial for both OP and his fiance. I'm on marriage number 2, as is my wife. If I didn't know the name or gender of her ex, I wouldn't have married her for exactly this reason. Who marries someone they don't know? I don't I don't see. Am I wrong? I don't know. I just don't see the issue. Like I understand you want to know more about your partner, and obviously it's like it's hard if they're not like telling you or opening up to you a lot about a situation, and it's like you want to know as much as possible, especially if you're marrying someone, but I don't see why that is like the main. I just don't see why this is like the main problem. Okay. This, in the beginning of finally seeing myself get married again after a joke of a high school romance marriage from 18 to 25 that traumatized me, I have had multiple men ask me, and it makes me panic. I have tried, and it failed every time. Now I have a partner that seems to genuinely love me for me. We don't agree on every front politically or in religion, but I have never known safety and security in knowing another human wants what is best for me, not even from my own parents. Was that her first time finding out that OP was bi? If so, that's probably something a fiance should know about their partner. Like, that's a major life fact. Okay, well, we know that she did know that. So that's why I'm so confused on what the problem is here. If she knows that he's bi, like, that's the biggest thing that I feel like he that she needs to know. I don't think he's purposely not saying, like, oh yeah, my husband. Like, I don't think he's purposely hiding that from her. I don't know. That's just how I'm reading it. To add to that last point, my now wife had been engaged in their last relationship before we met, and for the longest time, I gleaned only scraps of information about this other person incidentally because they didn't want to talk about it otherwise. It made me really fearful and made their ex-partner feel larger than life, and it felt like this huge part of this person I didn't know. It made me scared to open up to, and without intending to, I concealed a lot of my feelings and fears, which only deepened the trust issues. Things are obviously much better now. It reached a breaking point, but it took a really long time to get here, and I wish we could have avoided all of this pain in the first place. Agree with this and other comments. OP, it's only been 4 years since you lost that wife, too. I don't think you are truly ready to marry your fiance. I don't think you truly trust her, otherwise, you would have shared more about him to her. For the record, I am a woman who has lost 2 children. I know grief, how isolating and sacred we consider the relationships. I, for one, don't announce my children's death to anyone. Grieving parents get the deer in headlights look. Many just freeze and don't know how to react to it. So I do understand not blabbing about it to everyone, but to a future life partner, I think you probably should have and should be able to talk about him and your grief. For the record, you are doing well with your grief, but perhaps you may need to rethink the relationship you are in now. I'm deeply sorry for your loss. You don't include anything about your current fiance in your description of your relationship with your ex. So I'm not sure if you're ready to tie the knot with her or anyone really at this time. It seems like you're still more invested in your ex-partner than in your present one. Maybe you should get some counseling to assist you relocate to a better area. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe you aren't like ready for that, but I don't think they're really addressing what he's asking. He's saying, am I the asshole for not telling my fiance that my late partner was a man? He's not asking if he's ready to be married or not. You know? You know? I feel like everyone's ignoring the whole part of him and what he's actually asking. Okay, but anyways, we're just going to read the update at this point, okay? Because no one even agreed with me in the comments, and now I'm just confused because no one even said anything about the complete topic of the question in general. Okay. Update. Am I the asshole for not telling my fiance that my late partner was a man? I figured I'd go ahead and post an update before I return to my all lurk, no post comment Reddit life. Yesterday, I had an emergency therapy session because I was spiraling and didn't feel prepared to tackle the upcoming conversation with my fiance without one. It was hard but necessary as I was finally honest about just how much I was compartmentalizing my grief. It laid the foundation for where I'd like to go moving forward. Now I have to put in the legwork. The few hours between my therapy appointment and my fiance getting off work was evidence of just how avoidant I've become. It was a conversation we needed, but definitely not one I wanted. When we finally sat down to talk, I asked her to start us off by telling me exactly what was bothering her about the whole situation. She said because I had come to her in a casual way. She said because I had come out to her in a casual way. The way I come out to anyone, by mentioning it early on when it seems natural to bring up. She didn't realize how serious I was, and this made her look at me differently. She apologized for that and suggested that if I told her more about him now, it might be an easier pill for her to swallow. I tried, but there was this knot in my stomach the entire time I tried to pick a place to start. And maybe this is me being cruel, not giving her the benefit of the doubt, but it just didn't feel right. She hadn't come and said, I was shocked because I realized how little I know about at this time in your life. Would you be open to talking about it now? Instead, it felt like, tell me what you saw in him so I can attempt to rationalize your orientation. I told her I needed some time, so she went to stay elsewhere for the weekend. A longtime good friend of mine came over this morning. I think the combination of anonymously talking more openly about my partner here, as well as being more open with my therapist, helped me remind me of how joyous and cathartic it could be. I don't know the exact catalyst, but I do know I spilled my guts. We talked for hours about things I haven't told anyone in years. I expressed how nervous I was about possibly living alone again, and I was told that I didn't ever have to worry about that. That an SOS text message would be all it took for me to have company if I needed it. Same goes for all my friends and family. I'm so lucky I have an incredible support system. 5 minutes into that hours long conversation, I already knew. The trust, security, and love I felt made room for this newfound openness. The absence of any one of those marks a relationship DOA, and is why I felt physically ill trying to share this memory with her. I truly wish her the best. I think going our separate ways will be good for the both of us. We weren't getting what we needed from each other. She's supposed to be coming back tomorrow, so we'll have that talk then. I have lots of work to do for tonight. I get to be reminded of what safety feels like. Edit, please see this comment where I elaborate on the conversation she and I had. There seems to be misunderstanding where I blame her for everything because she didn't perfectly respond to the situation. Two things can be true. I wasn't open. I am largely accountable for the problems in this relationship, and I never should have entered it if I wasn't ready. She also said ignorant things. I'm not angry about it, and it's certainly not the sole reason we're breaking up. It's just another reason on the pile of reasons why this isn't sustainable. Me still not feeling comfortable enough to share with her does not equal me blaming her for everything or even the majority. It was just the final nail in the coffin, not the nail in the coffin, between maybe we can make this work with a lot of effort and this needs to end now. Not them saying nail in the coffin, the freaking, I was trying to say that so bad the last episode and I could not figure out what it was. I couldn't remember. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty disheartening to like her response. Obviously, everyone deals with things differently. So like if she has never personally dealt with like dating someone that is bisexual, I'm sure it's something new to navigate, but the fact that she just like she knew that he was bisexual because he came out to her, and just because he didn't like put it on a cake and say like I'm bisexual and like give it to her and blow freaking confetti everywhere doesn't mean that he's not bisexual. Like the fact that she's like, I didn't know how serious it was. Like maybe you were just like joking, or maybe it was just like a phase or something. You know, that's like kind of the energy that it's giving. It's like, oh, you say you're bisexual, but like maybe you just haven't been with like the right woman. I don't know. She obviously didn't say any of those things, but the way that it's like giving, like it's just giving something that's not sitting right with me. And I don't really know how to explain it, but I don't really like that. I don't like that at all. To like what's the word? To downplay someone's sexuality just because that's maybe what you want to believe, because you're not like, you're obviously not accepting of that. That's like not okay. If you don't want to be with him, okay, don't be with him. If you're not comfortable with it, okay, don't be with him. But if you're going to like say that I didn't realize how serious it was when you told me that, that's just so, I just feel like that's disrespectful. Oh my gosh. This person really, okay, wait, no. He commented a day ago. Okay, is it possible? So he's responding to people's questions in this comment. So I'm going to read the question and then I'm going to read his response. Is it possible that you had predetermined that it would go badly and made a self-fulfilling prophecy out of your anxieties? No, I was nervous, but I went in with an open mind. I knew I likely needed to end the relationship or at least pump the brakes, but that doesn't mean I went in guns blazing against her. I wasn't showing up in the way that I needed to. We hadn't started planning the wedding yet, and I knew now that would likely be much farther down the line than originally anticipated if things went well during our talk. I had a lot I needed to work through, and I didn't know if she would want to stay for that. Okay, next question. Were your uncomfortable feelings caused by someone concretely biphobic that, wait, am I? Were your uncomfortable feelings caused by something concretely biphobic that she actually said, or by your own nerves, which caused you to interpret anything she said in the worst possible light? She said she didn't realize how serious I was about being bisexual when I had already come out to her. She also said that made her look at me differently and apologized for that. To me, there's only one interpretation of that. I came out to her early on, but she didn't take my sexuality as a fact until she saw me with a man. And now she looks at me differently. And despite just devoting a paragraph to that conversation, it was much longer than that in person. I asked her to elaborate, and she doubled down on what she said. She was apologizing to me for seeing me differently and asking me to share memories of my late fiance to make this an easier pill to swallow. The pill to swallow wasn't my engagement, and it wasn't her lack of knowledge about it. The pill to swallow was very specifically the fact that she now saw me differently because I was in a serious, long-term relationship with a man. Exactly. Nicely explained. Okay? That is how I wish I could have explained it in my own words, but you know that I can't because I'm not good with words. Okay, did you communicate this discomfort to her? Did you ask her how she was feeling? Yes and yes. Like I said, long conversation where I opened the floor to her first and then asked clarifying questions. Is it possible your feelings could be the result of a clash between your avoidant nature and being forced to confront the problem, and her not having the perfect answers validated your feelings and desire to run again? I had to meet. Whoa, it's turning a little yellow. I didn't need perfect answers. I've been imperfect throughout this whole relationship. We're here because I've been avoidant and a messy human. I'm at fault here big time for not being open from the start, and I extend grace to her for having to put up with that. I'm sorry I didn't have this conversation sooner and that I jumped into something I wasn't ready for. What I needed was any shred of evidence that her problems with all of this stemmed from my lack of openness, as opposed to him being a man suddenly forcing her to take my sexuality seriously. I didn't get that, and I'm not even really angry at her with that for that. I don't understand why people are acting like I'm being hostile towards her. We're just not compatible. That's another reason to add to the pile. I'm not going to go into our next conversation blaming her for everything. I'm going to reiterate how it made me feel and encourage her to take bisexuality serious from the jump though. But that's just the one part of a much larger talk where I will take accountability and apologize for wasting her time when I couldn't give her all of me. Slay! Yeah, I mean, obviously, a lot of those things were things that I was trying to say, but he worded it way better than me because obviously it's his own personal experience and he was in that conversation and that's his life, that he could probably process it a little bit in a better way. And I have never been in a situation like that, so I would never know what it felt like. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what like the conclusion is. And no, not saying that she's even, I don't know. I understand like it's you I don't know. I guess if you've never dated like someone that's bisexual before, I guess that can be something different to navigate. But I don't know. It's just very interesting to me the way that she processed that like information, knowing that he was bisexual from the beginning. Like it just I don't know. Ugh. Why is it so cold right here? And why do I have goosebumps when I'm literally hot right now? Okay, I think that's the last story. I think I just filmed for a while. I don't know, but I'm sweating right now. And it was gonna storm mid-episode, and now it's not. It's literally like nice out, but I want it to storm really bad. And also, I texted the yoga place asking for them to get me an appointment and no one has texted me back. Hello, you text me when on your own terms and asking me if I want to come back, but then when I want to come back, you don't text me back. Interesting. I might just show up and be like, "Hey, what's up? I'm here. Please let me in." And I'm also about to pee my pants. Oh, you switching, bubas. Okay, let me know what you thought about all those stories and let me know your opinions on any of them. I don't know what I was about to say. I always forget what I'm about to say mid-sentence. It's so frustrating. Sometimes my memory is just weak. And maybe that's why I need to start being healthier, because I went to McDonald's the other day. Actually, no, yeah, me and my boyfriend. So on Saturday night, I like to have a fun weekend. Like, I like to stay up late on the weekends. My boyfriend doesn't really love to stay up late on the weekends because he usually gets headaches from it if he stays up too late, and then the next day he usually gets a headache. But I like to stay up late, okay? I'm just a night owl, and he claims that he is, but then he'll, like, literally go to bed and fall asleep in 5 seconds, and I'm like, girl, how? Don't blame me. And I can't fall asleep. So we went to McDonald's at, like, midnight on Saturday. We've been rewatching Vampire Diaries. So good. We both watched it a while ago, so we like don't really remember what happens, but we're almost on season 2 now, and every single time we're together, because we haven't had anything to watch in a while, like a new show, so we restarted Vampire Diaries, and it's literally so good. I forgot how good the show was. And then at like 11, he's getting ready for bed, and I'm like, I really want McDonald's. I'm so hungry because we didn't have dinner that day. We just had lunch, and that was at like 3 p.m. And then we had like a little snack. So I was like, I'm like really want McDonald's. And then we went to McDonald's. I convinced him, but then I just let it go because he was like, okay, I'll get a water. That was genuinely so rude of him. He said, I'll get a water. You can get something from McDonald's, and I'll get a water. You think I'm going to go to McDonald's and I'm going to let you get a water and I'm going to house down a Big Mac and a large fry? No, honey, that's not how it works. So I was like, okay, we're not going then, because I'm not about to be literally picking out on some food and you're going to just be drinking a water like you're so skinny and you're like a feather or something. And so then I just let it go. And then like 10 minutes later, he's like, so are we going to McDonald's? And I was like, you just said you wanted a water. And I told you I'm not going to go if you're going to get a water. And he's like, oh, let's go. So like we ended up going. And we ordered, the first thing we ordered was just like, we were like, we're not that hungry. We don't need like anything crazy. So he got, the fact that I just prefaced that and then I'm going to explain what we ate. He had a Big Mac, and I had, what did I have? A McChicken. And then we got a 4-count nugget to split, and then we got a large fry to split and a water. So we ate it, and then we were like, damn, like I could eat 10 of these. So we were like, we're already here. Why don't we just like get more food? Because like we already ate McDonald's, so whatever. Let's just like, isn't that always the mindset? It's like, I already ate all of this. I already ate half the pizza. Why don't I just eat the whole pizza? Not the best mindset in the world. So then we got more. We got the $5 meal deals. And we split it though. We got one. We got the McDouble with another 4-count and a small fry and a Coke Zero. The Coke Zero is like a prominent thing that I really messed up not getting the first time, because usually if I'm eating McDonald's and I have a Coke Zero, it's like the Coke Zero is going to help me feel full, because McDonald's certainly will not make me feel full. It's like empty. I swear, it's like air. You can just like eat it and eat it and eat it until your eyeballs fall out. And the Coke Zero usually helps me with that. But like, not me eating 2,500 calories of McDonald's and then still not being full. Hello? I'm like, is something wrong with me? I've always wanted to be one of those like people that are like, take a couple bites and then they're like, I'm so full. That will simply never be me. I've truly come to accept that now. It just won't. The days that happens to me, I'm like so proud. I'm like, wow, I didn't just have to like finish the entire plate of food and lick it clean. But That I will blame my grandpa for, because he wouldn't let us leave the table unless we ate every single thing on our plate. And obviously when I'm 7 years old, yeah, my eyes are going to be bigger than my stomach. Like, I'm going to want more than I know that I can eat. And so I get every single thing on my plate. I have a huge plate made for a 50-year-old man to eat, but I'm literally 7 years old. Obviously, I shouldn't be eating that much. Or like, I can't eat that much because I'm a little girl. And I'm eating and eating. And like, I have half the food left and I'm full, Grandpa. I want to get up. Please, please let me go. No, we were prisoners in our own home. And he was like, you need to finish everything on your plate before you get up. Sometimes I would literally be like falling asleep because I'm like, brother, I cannot eat any more than I already did. My stomach is literally not that big. I'm 7 years old. So that's how I grew up pretty much. And that's probably why I now can never not finish my whole entire plate. If I don't finish something, it's like genuinely hurts. It's like I could be the most stuffed person in the world and I could have like so much food left, but I will still eat all of it because I will feel so bad wasting it. Because, the typical line that people would say, like, there are people in the world that are starving. And then I'd be like, you're right. So then I'll just keep eating and eating and eating. And then I'll feel so terrible after, and I'll be like, why didn't I just stop when I knew that I was full? Because I don't have the thing in my brain that tells me, that intuition that tells me that I need to just chill. I just keep going, and I'm like, I act like I'm never going to have that food ever again when I could quite literally eat that for leftovers later. So, yeah. Sorry for the trauma dump, but that's the reason that I have a very hard time not eating every single thing on my plate, which in turn makes me feel like shit afterwards, and then I'm heavily regretting it. And then every single time I'm like, wow, I'm such a terrible person. Like, how can I not just get it through my brain and just stop when I know that I'm full? Unfortunately, that's something that I have to live with. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you haven't already, press the subscribe button. Maybe turn on the notification bell if you want notifications that I posted. Obviously comment as always, because I love to talk to you guys as much as I possibly can, and as much as you guys possibly can comment. And like the video. Maybe share it with a friend or family that would like my videos. And I love you guys so much, like to the moon and back a million times. Thank you for watching. Have the best day ever. See ya.